Welcome to the Defining Moments Black Men series of the 𝐤𝐸𝐤𝐿 Show. It's my privilege and pleasure to introduce my guest today, Mr. Bishop Perry. How are you today?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so happy you are here today. Thank you for taking the time to share some of your wisdom and experiences with us. And I'd like to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself, your occupation, and your background.
Okay. Thank you for having me. It was a great invitation, and I was gladly to accept it.
Thank you.
Originally, I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. Not to make it a long, drawn out historical lesson here, but uh, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and I moved to Atlanta, Georgia at a young age, around 24, 25 years old there. And I began to plant my feet into what I uh, began as my music business career. So, in the time span of spending my time in Atlanta, I was a music publisher. I worked for some great people. I've collected royalties for the late Nina Simone. I've worked for Gladys Knight and the Pips. Currently, I work for some distinguished people like Melba Moore. And it's just, leaving my hometown and going to a foreign land to pursue my dream, I think was a great opportunity for me to grow as a person, not only for me to grow in my career. So
Okay.
now I'm out west in Las Vegas working on some things right now, and hopefully we see some fruits from this labor in 2023.
That is fantastic and very unique. Music publishing royalties as a business and helping some of our great stars get what they are owed. I think it's
Yes,
fantastic. All
yes,
right.
yes.
So, how would you describe yourself?
I would describe myself as a genuinely loving person. I love helping people because it's the easiest thing to do on earth. Why not do it? So that kind of carries, my character and the people that I'm around. And, also I have a genuine heart for community,
Mhm.
supporting our communities. I'm a mental health first aid trainer, and I have an initiative that I recently launched in St. Louis with recording artist Truth Hurts, where we have a mission to train as many barbers and beauticians in mental health first aid in St. Louis. So, my my life kind of spans in different areas, but
Mhm.
in totality, my heart is in it all.
Oh, that is fantastic. I love that. I'm so glad you said something. And please send me that information so I can put it in the link to this so
I
we can
sure
know
will.
more about that.
I
Okay.
sure will.
So, if you had to pick a phrase that would be the theme for your life, what would it be?
Big dreamer.
All right. Big dreamer and big accomplisher. All right. That is wonderful. Thank you. So,
Yes, yes.
oftentimes people say, well, what is a defining moment? A defining
Yeah.
moment is a point in life when a pivotal decision must be made or when an experience fundamentally changes a person. What defining moment would you be willing to share with us today?
Well, I have several defining moments, but there's one in particular that stands out larger than the rest. And it deals with a recent journey that I experienced when I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer over 6 months ago.
Wow.
And it was at the time when I heard the news that I knew it was going to be a defining moment. I knew when I heard her give my doctor give me my diagnosis. I knew at that moment, I just knew in my soul that this was going to be the most defining moment of my life. So everything that I receive, everything that I interpret from this point forward has to be handled with critical care because it has to come from one person and one person only, and that was God. So defining what that experience was like, it was just an evolution of a man into a healthier spiritual realm. I would say that because I've always been connected spiritually, uh, and this experience has shown me that what my relationship has been with God has always been there. It's just needed some more polishing. And I need to be, and this experience has humbled me. But not only that, it has shown me, has opened my eyes. I want to tell you, I think it's opened all my senses. I can tell you about some things that I will never be able to see again. And I know they were based upon this journey that I was experiencing. I've met some extraordinary people because of this diagnosis. But at the end of the day, it defined how strong I can be mentally, physically, and spiritually, and how you can come out in the end as a champion, even though they gave you, a hot potato, you know, and told you to put chili cheese on it. Why it still can be done. It's just that we have to be slow to react and just wait on the word from the Most High, from God. That's so important, and He will help you define that moment that you feel like might define you in another way.
Mm. I just have to catch my breath. Okay, I have a few questions. Okay,
Yes.
so how old are you?
Oh, great question. I'm 48 years old.
Okay, so at 48 or 47, you were
Yeah.
diagnosed.
At 48, I was diagnosed.
Okay,
Oh
you
yes, yeah.
know,
It was right before my 48th birthday. I apologize. Right before my 48th
okay,
birthday.
thank you. And through social media, let me just skip ahead and then we'll come back. Through social media,
Yeah.
I just saw a post of you ringing a bell. And I said, oh my gosh, I didn't even know he was
Yes.
sick. So, can you tell
Yes.
us what led up to you getting this diagnosis? Were you having some symptoms or something, or was this just a routine check? Can you just give us a little bit for our viewers to kind
Sure.
of maybe know some signs?
Sure. Sure. No problem. So, I'm a workaholic. I work hard. And I was experiencing some pain, some lower abdominal pain, and I'm thinking this, probably something with, acid reflux or something like that.
Sure.
But the pain just, just lasted longer than I expected it to. So, I went to the doctor. Of course, I went to the emergency room, and that's where they ran some tests on me, and that's when they came to the conclusion of what was happening to me. Now, it was, I think I was prepared mentally even before they told me,
Okay.
what it was, because you kind of know when God is trying to tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I this experience, even though it carries the conglomerate of cancer, the heaviness, the weight of cancer, I didn't feel any of that. I didn't feel the fear from it or anything like that. But what led me to the hospital was, physical pain.
Mm-hmm.
And after running several tests, that's when the diagnosis came, and that's when I went to prayer mode.
Wow. Okay. Did they give you a stage number, or did they?
Yes, yes, I was at stage 4, which is unbelievable to myself, because I walked into the hospital. I didn't have to be carried. I didn't have to be I had to be brought by ambulance or anything like that. And for them to say that it was at stage 4, that didn't even alarm me. That didn't
Gotcha.
even it didn't allow fear to intervene.
Mm-hmm.
And after receiving that news, I asked God to send me a sign. I said, I'm gonna wait on you, God. I'm gonna shut down everything around me. I'm gonna shut
Mm-hmm.
down everything until I hear or see from you.
Okay.
Tell you how God showed up. There was a medicine, a prescription medicine that my insurance company would not cover because I haven't been admitted. Remind you, I'm still, at the emergency rooms stage here. So, but I needed it because I was in some pain.
Okay.
And one of the doctors that was overseeing me, unbeknownst to me, walked to the prescription, to the pharmacy in the hospital, and paid for my prescription out of his pocket, and brought and had the prescription sent to me. And when it arrived, that's when I knew God was there. I said, God, let's go. Now I know you here. I got you. We got the rest.
I literally have goosebumps.
So that was the beginning.
Okay, so tell us what happened. So from that point, you said prayer, you got your sign, you were like, okay, we're going to do this. So did they admit you, or did you leave for a couple of days and come back? Just tell us, just give us a summary of your journey, of your healing journey.
Yes. No problem. So in the beginning, I was bucking. Even though God was there with me, I was bucking the procedure of chemotherapy, because I've heard all the horror stories behind it and everything that comes with it. But I did some research, and I found some new forms of treatment that were being offered on a clinical basis. And after doing that research, it gave me a comforting feeling to know that that particular treatment had a success rate of like 98%, which I thought was, extraordinary. So I say, let me go for this treatment. And as luck would have it, it was affiliated with a university in St. Louis called Washington University School of Medicine. And they were partnered with Missouri Baptist Medical Center. And, it was just me understanding what this process is going to be about and allowing them to administer it was the important piece to it. The process took 6 months. And at this time, I'm living in Atlanta. So I had to travel twice a month back and forth from St. Louis to Atlanta to receive chemotherapy treatment.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. So, but I didn't tell my doctors until month 4, because I didn't want them to discourage me and tell me that I was doing too much and, I needed to do things their way. I was rolling on God's strength, and I was rolling on his direction, and he's shown me his face throughout this entire. I have not seen God this much. He's always been here, but it's not until we have a focusing moment that we see him. And you see him in everything around you. So everything that has been happening during this time, I've seen God in everything. It's been extraordinarily amazing. Extraordinarily amazing. Yeah.
So how long ago did you ring the bell? How many weeks ago was it?
Oh, it's been going on 5 weeks now. It's about 5 weeks. Probably close to 6 weeks. And God has developed this energy and believing in him. So I have been attracting people like yourself post my healing that have been touched by the story or have been inspired in some way, shape, or form. Excuse me. So I'm honored to really be here, because it just shows that God has reached another one. And that's all we're here for, to make it simple and to make it better for somebody. Even when they can't hear you, if they can see you and they feel the inspiration just from seeing, that's enough. So to hear you say it was just a post, that's just enough. They say less is more.
It wasn't just a post. I was just like, what? And so I prayed and I said, oh, thank the Lord. And I wrote you a little note. And I realized that this was probably a personal journey since I hadn't seen it. And then as we discussed before we got on record, you just said, I knew that I would get so much love and so much attention that I wouldn't be able to focus on my healing. So I had to go through this journey. And I know you had a couple of people to support you. And I'm I feel the authenticity of your words and the genuineness of your faith. And it is almost overwhelming, and it is certainly a blessing. And I just want to thank you because, of course, I never know what defining moments you all are going to share.
Right.
And I pray that whoever watches this will be truly inspired and blessed by this, especially if they're going through any type of health situation. And
Right.
speaking of that, you said you bucked a little bit, when it was time to do the chemotherapy. So could you speak to your fellow brethren, your fellow Black men about health? And can you give them 3 pieces of advice or wisdom when it comes to being a man and their health?
Sure. So I experienced a lot of different issues with my treatment, and it was to be expected. Health-wise, I think that we should probably pay closer attention to the silent symptoms, the smaller things that are telling us, look over here.
Okay, Bishop, you
Pay
froze. Excuse
attention
me.
to me right.
Hold on one second. If you can hear me, you just froze, so we didn't hear any of those things you said. So can you? Oh, let's see what's going to happen here. If you can get back, if you can start with the silent symptoms again when you come back. I don't want to stop this broadcast. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, can you hear me now? Bishop, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You were buffering. So when you said silent symptoms, that's the last thing. Okay. I don't want to stop the broadcast. So you said silent symptoms and we missed everything else. So can you start again?
Yes, I sure can.
Okay.
So the signs and symptoms, and that we need to kind of pay attention to our body, whether it's a shortness of breath, headache, tingling in your fingertips, or your toes or something like that. Those are telltale signs that your body is trying to communicate with you. And going forward, there's 3 things that I think that men should realize is we're not indestructible.
Okay.
We don't know it all. And we should let somebody give us advice sometime. So,
all right. From your mouth to everyone's ears. I love that because, oftentimes we as women have men in our lives and we'll try to tell them stuff, but they won't necessarily listen to us, but maybe they'll listen to you.
Yes. There was a nurse at the hospital, and she was just kind of fed up with because I had something every time that would prevent treatment from moving forward. And one day she just pulled me into to the office and closed the door and told me, we're about to have a coming to Jesus moment.
And she got you together.
No more problems after that.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. Well, Bishop, I want to tell you that this has been truly amazing. Thank you for being willing to be so transparent and vulnerable. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your faith. And before we go, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share?
Yes, I'm grateful to be a part of this experience during Black History Month. I realized that there are not a lot of platforms like yours that recognizes African American men during Black History Month. And I thank you for this opportunity to be able to share my story with other African Americans during Black History Month.
You are certainly welcome. It is my privilege to do so. Thank you so much for your time and your story. And I look forward to hearing more about your adventures in Las Vegas. And I hope that you get a chance to share your story widely. I hope many people watch this and share it, because I do believe lives can change because of your defining moment. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for those words.
You're welcome.